Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, and welcome to this horror anthology movie review video as part of my current March 2024 series. As we're getting close to the end of the month here, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at, obviously, like most of these, a movie I haven't seen before. Um, and that is one that Rod Serling was involved in actually in the early 70s, and that movie is Encounter with the Unknown, which you can see I got here on DVD, Alpha Video Rewind Series, Three Tales of Supernatural Horror. So yeah, didn't know anything about this other than it was narrated by Rod Serling, as it says right there. But other than that, these stories were this whole movie was completely foreign to me going into it. So let's just go ahead and get into Encounter with the Unknown. So Encounter with the Unknown is a 1972 American anthology horror film directed by Harry Thomason in his directorial debut and narrated by Rod Serling. It features three allegedly true stories involving the supernatural. The film was produced by Centronics International, an Arkansas based studio founded by Thomason. So, yeah, excuse me. So basically, the film presents three allegedly true stories of the supernatural. So I'll just kind of go through each of the stories and the premises. The first story is The Heptagon. It opens on a somber note at a funeral of a college student, Johnny Davis. His friends Dave, Frank, and Randy are in attendance at his burial. It is revealed that they played a seemingly innocent phone prank on Johnny, telling him to go to a certain address where a date was waiting. Instead, an old woman who lived at the address accidentally shot Johnny to death. As the funeral service ends, Johnny's mother, who is the seventh daughter of the seventh son, recites a cryptic message to the three young men she blames for the death of her son. One by land, two by sky. 7 times around go three of you, and may your reward be just and true. So that's the first story. It goes from there, of course. The second story is entitled The Darkness. This is set in rural Missouri during the early 20th century and involves the disappearance of a boy's dog in the vicinity of a mysterious hole in the ground. And then it goes from there. The third story, the final segment, is The Girl on the Bridge. Involves a strange, disoriented girl and the Arkansas state senator who attempts to give her a ride home. Most of the story unfolds via the girl's flashbacks. As the senator and his wife arrive at the address the girl had given them, they find out that she had mysteriously vanished from the back seat of the car. So you can probably guess where that one's going. As far as the cast goes, Rod Serling obviously is the big name here as the narrator. We got Robert uh, Ginnivan as Father Dwayne, Gary Brockett as Frank Cameron, and Rosie Holotick as Susan in the third story. So yeah, that's kind of the setup, the premise, and the cast for Encounter with the Unknown from 1972. I'm trying to dramatize it up a bit because there's not a lot of drama in this movie. So let's just be real about it. Yeah, this movie's not very good. I mean, I love Rod Serling, and that's the reason why I picked this up at a like a thrift store. I really didn't pay anything for this, so that's why I can say that it's not very good and not be upset about it. But yeah, it's very early 70s, very grainy quality, very low budget. Has very much of a TV movie feel to it. Let's just go ahead and get into it, starting with the few things that I liked about this movie. And you got to start with Rod Serling's involvement in narration. It really gives the movie much more gravitas and those Twilight Zone kind of feels, which I'm all about, frankly. And anything Rod Serling has his name attached to, the original Twilight Zone, Night Gallery, this movie. He's just one of the great television people of all time. So that definitely is the biggest pro. It does have good cinematography in the third story specifically, the one with the girl on the bridge. I thought there were some really nice shots and some well done camera work in that short. The third story probably is my favorite one, even though it's been played out quite a bit at this point. But in 1973, it was fairly new. Even though it does kind of give you the idea of why can't I think of the name of that movie? Oh, Carnival of Souls. It has a little bit of those vibes going on, which was in the 60s. So, not completely original, but it's probably my favorite of these three, which probably says more about the first two than it does about the quality of the third one. But I did think the third one did have some kind of creepy moments and scenes in it. And as I said, it was well shot with the cinematography. Plus, the main character of Susan, played by Rosie Holitek, is very pretty. So yeah, this is a movie that almost borders on so bad it's good territory. I don't know if it's going to for everyone. I do plan on keeping this movie, even though it's not a great anthology by any specific means. But just because of the low quality, the over and bad acting, and just the overall stories, from the editing to the dialogue to it's just very not good. But by being not good, it's kind of almost that's so bad it's good. So those are my pros. I had to sort of reach for a few of those, as you can tell. As far as cons go, I'm not sure why they felt they needed two narrators when one of them is Rod Serling. There's basically, the movie opens and ends with another narrator. I'm not sure who it is. It's a gentleman, though. And then Rod Serling actually narrates throughout the three stories, which, why not just use Rod Serling for the whole movie? What a waste. There's way too much filler here. This is a movie that probably has 45 to 50 minutes of actual material that they basically pad through pointless, drawn-out scenes. Like in the third story, the one that I actually liked, there's at least 5 to 10 minutes of Susan and this guy that she's involved with in flashbacks, basically just like frolicking around the landscape and the mountainside, basically outside, outdoors, with cheesy early 70s music playing in the background, which doesn't serve any purpose really. Yes, we know they're in love. They're going to go off and get married. We don't need to spend 10 minutes seeing them roll around and kiss and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, if it wasn't for Rosie Holitek being so cute, it would have annoyed me even more. But so yeah, they definitely draw it on. And then also this movie at the end summarizes the whole movie again, as if we hadn't just watched it. They basically recap everything that happens, and I think they do it more than once. Actually, there's actually a recap within the recap, I felt like, when I was watching it at the end. So yeah, definitely a lot of filler going on. As I said earlier, it is a low grainy quality, low budget, obviously. Feels like a TV movie. And actually, I was thinking it's like one of those movies, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s like I did, and you ever went to the public library, and you could check out, and not just books, but like video cassettes, VHS tapes. It kind of feels like something that you might get at your public library, just in terms of the quality. And I don't know, if you're older like I am, and you know what I'm talking about, you could probably sort of understand if you've seen this movie especially. But it just kind of has that after school special kind of feel to it, early 70s style. Not sure that the crawl, they use like a really long text crawl that they put on the screen at the beginning after the opening credits. I don't think it was all that effective or necessary, to be honest with you. And then, as I said, there's really bad acting throughout the movie. And then finally, the unknown part of this movie is the characters' decisions that are made. They're unknown because they don't make any sense. And now this is most true in the first story, where you have these three guys that the college classmate that they had, his mom holds them responsible for his death when they played a prank on him, as I said in the story. And things happen where one ends up dying, and then the second one decides he's going to get on a plane, even though the lady said one by ground, two by air. And as if that's not bad enough, after the first two pass away, the third one decides the only way to get over it's to go skydiving. One by land, the guy gets hit by a car. The second one's in a plane crash. And the third one decides to do something that's risky in the air. One by land, two by air. I'm not sure he was thinking with a full deck on that one. So it's just decisions like that. And again, I don't want to get too much into it because this movie's not really of high enough quality to really get all that upset about it. But it's definitely something that stood out to me in that first movie. I know I didn't talk too much about the second movie that takes place in the early 1900s. It has this hole in the ground. You never really discover what's down there, which I guess I'll give them some credit. that can be a small pro as well. The fact that they don't give too much away and there's a mystery surrounding there. Basically, the dad of this young kid goes down there to look for the dog, and he screams in terror and comes out insane, basically, and spends the rest of his life in an insane asylum. We don't know anything else about it other than that. So that's another little pro I can give. But overall, guys, not one of the great horror anthologies. Like I said, all three stories are supernatural stories. Of course, there is no wraparound or anything. Rod Serling's involvement definitely is why I'm going to keep this in my collection, as well as it may be so bad it's good, and the cute actress in the third one that played Susan. But other than that, this is a 6 out of 10. I feel like I'm being generous giving it a 6. But if any of you have seen this movie before, let me know down in the comments below if you think it's as bad as I kind of making it out to be, or if you enjoy it on some level. If you haven't, I can't recommend it unless you're really a big Rod Serling fan like I am, and any involvement he has in a project you're interested in. So please like this video, hit the little notification bell down below, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews for this series. There's only going to be 2 more videos, one more horror anthology movie review, and then I'm going to rank all 10 of these, because I've done 9 now, including this one. All 10 of these horror anthology movies from my least favorite to my favorite throughout the month. That'll be my last video, dropping around the 30th. And please, and the subscription is important because I have a lot of great horror content coming out, not just the rest of this year, but into 2025 as well, so you don't want to miss any of that, including a 3-month series that I'll sort of hint at here that's coming up in a few months. So with that being said, I hope you guys are enjoying this horror anthology review series. Hope everybody's doing well for the most part. But as always, stay scared. Bye.